Once upon a time, in a small hut by the sea, lived a poor fisherman. Day after day he cast his nets, but for one whole day not a single fish did he catch. As dusk painted the sky in shades of purple and orange, he sat by his empty boat, his heart heavy with despair. Suddenly, the water before him rippled, and a strange, mysterious head surfaced. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. It spoke in a voice like the rushing tide. "I can give you fish, more than you could ever dream of. In return, you must give me what your wife now carries under her girdle." The fisherman, thinking only of his wife's empty larder and not of any other possibility, readily agreed. "A bargain!" he cried. He cast his net one last time, and when he pulled it in, it was so heavy with wriggling, silvery fish that it nearly broke. He rushed home, his heart finally light, eager to share his incredible luck. His wife met him at the door, her face glowing with a joy he hadn't seen in years. "My love," she said, her hand resting on her belly, "we are going to have a child." The fisherman's joy turned to ice. The fish spilled from his net, forgotten. He stared at his wife, the mysterious creature, as words echoing in his mind. "What your wife now carries under her girdle." He had, in his desperation, promised away his own unborn child. The fisherman confessed his terrible bargain, and a shadow of fear fell over their small, happy home. News of the fisherman's dreadful pact traveled fast, and soon reached the ears of the good king. Moved by their plight, the king sent for the couple. "Do not despair," he said kindly. "When your son is born, bring him to the castle. I will raise him as my own, and here, under my protection, no harm can befall him." And so it was. The boy was born and brought to the royal court. He grew up strong, brave, and with an insatiable curiosity about the world beyond the castle walls. He learned to ride, to fence, and to read ancient lore, but his heart always yearned for the sea he had never known. On his 18th birthday, a deep longing overtook him. He went to the fisherman, who now served as a royal gardener, and pleaded, "Father, you must take me to the sea. Just for one day. I need to see where I came from." The old fisherman's heart ached with fear, but he couldn't deny his son's earnest request. Reluctantly, he led the young man down to the shore, where a small boat bobbed gently in the waves. The moment the prince stepped into the boat, however, a powerful, unseen force seized it. The wind howled, the sea churned, and the boat was whisked away, moving faster than any sail or oar could carry it, disappearing over the horizon into an unknown fate. The fisherman could only watch, helpless, as his son was stolen away by the sea, just as the prophecy had foretold. The magical boat carried the young man for days, finally beaching itself on the shores of a strange and silent land. The air was still, and an eerie quiet hung over the landscape. As he ventured inland, he came upon a magnificent but desolate castle. In the courtyard, he found a truly sorrowful sight. 3 beautiful princesses, frozen in time, turned to stone. As he reached out to touch the first statue, a faint voice whispered in his mind. He turned to the third statue, whose stone eyes seemed to hold a glimmer of life. Her voice, a soft echo in his thoughts, told him a terrible tale. She and her sisters were prisoners, enchanted by 3 monstrous trolls who lived in the dark fortress on the hill. "There is only one way to break the curse," her voice pleaded. "You must go to the trolls' castle. For 3 nights you must endure their torment without making a sound, 1 night for each of us. If you can withstand their cruelty, we will be free." The young man, his heart filled with courage and compassion, looked at the stone princes and nodded. He would not fail. That night he entered the troll's dark, foul-smelling castle and lay down on a bench as instructed. The first troll, a hulking beast with skin like granite, entered and beat him mercilessly through the night. The young man clenched his jaw, tasting blood, but did not cry out. When dawn broke, the troll vanished, and he knew he had freed the first princess. The second night was worse. The second troll, crueler than the first, joined in the torment. The pain was unbearable, but the young man thought of the princesses and held his silence. When the sun rose, he had saved the second sister. On the third and final night, all 3 trolls descended upon him. They beat him, they mocked him, they tried everything to make him scream. He was on the verge of breaking, his body shattered, but in his mind he saw the face of the third princess, and her silent plea gave him the strength to endure. As the first rays of dawn pierced the gloom, the trolls shrieked and dissolved into dust. The young man collapsed, but he had won. When he awoke, the three princesses stood before him, alive and radiant. The castle was no longer dark and menacing, but filled with light. The third princess, the one who had spoken to him, knelt by his side. Her eyes shone with gratitude and something more. "You have saved us," she said, her voice now clear and warm. "For your bravery, I give you this." She slipped a simple gold ring onto his finger. "This is a ring of wishing. It will grant you 2 wishes, but use them wisely." The young man looked at the ring, then back at her. His first thought was of his family. "I wish," he said, his voice firm, "to be home." In the blink of an eye, the world swirled around him, and he found himself standing in the royal garden. His parents, the fisherman and his wife, were there, older now, their faces etched with years of worry. Their tears of sorrow turned to tears of unbelievable joy as they embraced the son they thought they had lost forever. The king welcomed him back as a hero. With his family safe and his heart full, the young man knew what his second wish must be. He held the ring and wished not just for his own happiness, but for the happiness and prosperity of his family and his kingdom for all their days. And as for the princess, his wish brought her to him. Reunited, the brave fisherman's son and the grateful princess were married, their lives intertwined by courage and magic. And they, along with everyone they loved, lived happily ever after. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more magical tales.